Hi folks, welcome to Wednesday's Coffee and Colossians. I say this all the time, but this is an amazing verse as well. We are looking at verse 23, and yesterday we saw this: if you continue in your faith, established and firm, and do not move from a hope held out in the gospel. Now, one of the reasons that we are to hold out for the hope held out in the gospel is that hope is that this gospel is the gospel that you heard and that has been proclaimed to every creature under heaven, and of which I, Paul, have become a servant. Now think about that for a moment. What is Paul really saying? Every creature under heaven? Every human being's heard the gospel? Every animal's heard the gospel? Every angel has heard the gospel? I don't think so. I think what he's saying, obviously not. There are plenty of people who hadn't heard the gospel at that point. But what he's saying is that this gospel is for the whole of the creation. And it's very public. It's not to be hidden away. I just watched some of Tim Keller's last words, and he was talking about how it's not just an individual salvation that we have, an individual resurrection, but a resurrection world, which I think is a wonderful thing. And I think sometimes we can allow what's happening around us and even within us or in our circumstances to deflect from this fact that the gospel is bearing tremendous fruit and is going to bear tremendous fruit. You were alienated from God, but now you've been reconciled by Christ's physical body. You've got to continue in this, because this gospel is the only hope for the world, and it's a certain hope. I don't know if you can see this. Maybe I'll turn it around so that you can see. I'm watching on there the Free Church General Assembly. Actually, I'm watching the Church of Scotland General Assembly as well. I'm afraid I'm a bit of an assembly geek, and I can't watch it all. But it really is a tale of two assemblies. Now, I've been in one. I've not been surprised. Well, actually, no. Maybe I've been surprised in both. So I'm incredibly encouraged by what the Free Church is doing, and just the past 6 months, there seems to me almost a change in ethos and atmosphere. Of course, there are numerous problems. Of course, this is a church full of sinners, but it's just great to hear. I've just been listening to the missions report, and new churches, people being added to the faith, the gospel producing its work. And then I look at the Church of Scotland Assembly, and I was going to say it wasn't surprising, but actually it is surprising to me how far down the road it has gone to destruction. And the thing that struck me was the report which says that they have 60,000 people now. 60,000. Not 1 million, not 600,000, not 300,000, but 60,000 in the whole of Scotland who attend church on a Sunday. 60,000. That's such a decline. And as I listen to the assembly, it's so depressing, because it seems like, I contrast the two moderators' speeches. So the moderator of the Church of Scotland is an American, and she might as well be speaking at the Green Party, to be honest. I couldn't discern anything of Christ or anything of the gospel in what she's saying. Little wonder that Ross Greer, one of the leaders of the Green Party, thinks she's absolutely wonderful. And then Bob Ackroyd, the passion in his moderator's address was wonderful, and the passion for people and for the gospel, I just think, was absolutely tremendous. So I come back to this. This is the gospel you heard, and that has been proclaimed to every creature under heaven, in which I, Paul, have become a servant. These guys on here I'm watching, who are ministers and pastors in the Free Church, and those who are in the Church of Scotland who are still faithful. I don't think there's many left, but there are some. And God bless you in your service for him. But we have to have confidence in the gospel, and we have to realize that we are its servants, not its master. You know, in such a wonderful way, I find that such a liberating thing. Because if I was the master, I failed. But I'm not the master, I'm the servant, and the gospel doesn't fail. So, I hope that thought encourages you. By the way, thank you so much. Every day, different people get in touch, and that's really, really lovely, because that you're even doing this. This was all, I started all of this due to my wife when we were in lockdown and we were looking at Job. And I've actually continued it purely and simply because I just love looking at God's word, but also because of the encouragement I receive from you. So God bless you for that. And tomorrow we're going to go on to look at verse 24. So see you then. Bye.